Hey guys, welcome and welcome back to my channel. So in my previous video which I posted today as well, I posted how to make the pattern for this particular trendy corset, and in this video I'm going to be teaching you guys how to make it. Please guys, I would love you guys to subscribe to my channel. A lot of you guys are watching my videos but you're not subscribed. Please subscribe to the channel and join the family. Now let's get our intro in and do what? Stitch up! I feel like I've not said this in a long time and I'm so excited to finally say it. Let's stitch up, guys. So for this tutorial, you're going to be needing two different fabrics because I'm going to make it reversible. So for the sleeves, I'll be making use of a tulle fabric or net fabric. And you're also going to need bias tape. Now for the bias tape, I'm going to use it to make the loops at the back and also use it for the hem of this corset. So guys, sit back, relax and enjoy the making of this Trendy V Bottom Corset. So first up, you're going to take your pattern. I'm starting with the center front. Now for the center front, you're going to place it on a fold. So your fabric has to be on a fold and every other part has to have half an inch allowance. Do you guys get? So for this part, you're going to have half an inch allowance all around except the center front. Now because I don't want to use the entire sleeve, I want like 3 inches off, so I'm going to measure 3 inches, then place the pattern on the fabric and then start pinning. So guys, you can see that I've left half an inch allowance all around except the center front. Now I'm just going to place my other patterns because my fabric is actually enough to take every single one of them. So I'm just going to place it on it, leaving half an inch allowance all around. Now for every other pattern, you're going to leave half an inch all around. So that's all around your pattern. So if you have to measure it, just measure it, start pinning, and once you're done pinning, cut it out and use it to cut out the other fabric. So you know it's a reversible fabric, and even if it's a lining you're using, you have to still cut out the exact replica of the front part. So for the sleeves, I'm using 20 inches by 10 inches. Now for this measurement is up to you, anything you want to do. So far it's tulle, and this tulle is actually stretchy on the 20-inch part. So when I wear it, I can easily pull it or tie it however I want. And yeah, basically just use any measurement you are convenient with. So right here, I have cut out all my pieces. You know, this is what it looks like. And so basically, we're just going to start pinning and then we're going to start sewing. And I can't wait to show you guys the final result. Yeah, so let's start pinning already. So first up, you're going to lay out all the patterns according to how they would look like when you're done. So you're going to put the center piece with the side pieces and also the back piece. So it's going to look like how it's going to look when you're done. Then just start grabbing it and pinning it together. So please make sure you're pinning right sides facing each other. So you're pinning the center fronts to the side pieces and then you're pinning the side pieces to the back piece. So once you're done pinning, this is what it should actually look like. I've gone ahead to pin the other one as well. So this is what it should actually look like a real corset top. Like you would think it's actually already sewn. So you have to just go to your machine and sew everything down. Yes. This is what it looks like after I've already sewn it. Now, like I said, even when you pin it, it's supposed to look like you've already sewn it. And this is actually what it looks like after sewing. Now, you're going to place one of your fabrics right sides facing up, and then you're going to put your second fabric right sides facing down. So the two right sides are facing each other. Then we're going to start sewing again. You're going to leave the sides and the bottom open. You're not going to sew it at all. Then you're going to sew the top alone. So for the top, you're going all around except those two sleeve tops. So those two tiny parts are the sleeves. You're not going to sew it. So you're going to just leave that space and just continue till you get to the end. So the top of both sleeves, you're leaving them open. Now I've gone ahead to sew it and this is what it actually looks like. I'm just going to turn it right now so you guys can see what it looks like. I didn't sew the bottom, I didn't sew the sides. So this is what it looks like. But before I turn it, I'm going to snip the corners. So the parts that you see are curved. I would like you to use your scissors to snip it a little bit. So just be careful to not snip your stitches. This curves will be around the armhole, so you have to snip it so that you can turn it easily. Yes, so guys, this is it turned right sides out. And it's looking really cute already. Now look at it, I didn't sew the sides like I said, I didn't sew the bottom. Now with this my pattern, I mistakenly cut the back by 2 inches. You know, I wanted this open back loop kind of thing, but when I wore it, I realized the back was a bit open, like too open for my liking, and I decided to add more fabric. Now moving on from that, this is called a Rigilene boning. So it's a boning that you can actually sew on, so it's really durable, really easy to use, beginner friendly. You don't have any problem of breaking your needle, so this is actually really good for sewing, and it's really affordable, so that's why it's beginner friendly again. So you guys can actually buy it at your local sewing stores. Just ask for Rigilene boning and they're going to give it to you. So right now I'm going to be drawing our line for our boning channels. So I'm going to have 1/2 inch boning channel, and I would like it to go straight down the middle. I would also like to have 2 slanting lines at the left and right of that center, and I'm also going to put one in between the side and the back panels, and also one more on the part where I'm going to join my extra fabric. Remember I said the back was a little bit open, so I'm going to put a boning channel at that part as well. Yes, so basically I'm going to have 7 channels, 3 in front and 2 on both sides. So 2 each on both sides, which is 3, 5 and 7. So that's 7. So let's start drawing our boning channels. Now to get the center, I'm going to just fold it into 2, and then I'm going to draw a line. Now this is going to be a 1/2 inch boning channel. So you're going to sew 1/4 inch on the left of this line and 1/4 inch on the right side of this line. So do you guys get 1/4 inch on the left and on the right, which will give you 1/2 inch in the end? Now for the 2 slanted lines, I'm going to measure 2.5 inches at the top and 1.5 inches at the bottom, so that my channels would be, you know, not necessarily close to each other, but close to each other at the same time. So you're going to draw a line linking both points. Now I'm going to do the same thing for the other side, 2.5 inches out at the top and 1.5 at the bottom, and I'm just going to draw that line. So once you're sewing 1/4 inch on both sides like I explained for the center, so 1/4 inch on the left and 1/4 inch on the right. Now for the sides, you're going to sew down the stitches that are already there, like the seam that is already there. Just sew it down and sew 1/2 inch after it. So this means you're basically using the existing seam. So that existing seam that is already there, you're using it as your first line. Then you can use your measuring tape or your ruler to measure 1/2 inch after it and draw that line as well. So that's where you're going to be sewing as your boning channel. So you're sewing both fabrics together and you're drawing another line that would give you your 1/2 inch boning channel. Now that's why we can't draw these lines on the wrong side of the fabric. If not, we'll not be able to turn our fabric inside out. So we have to do everything on the right side like we've done already. So I'm just going to go to my machine right now and sew it straight down. So if you want to even make your work even easier, you can just place the boning channel and use it to draw your line. I think that's even easier as a beginner friendly way. You can just use the boning channel to draw that line on both sides. Now guys, once you're done sewing it down, you're going to take your bias tape. Now we're sewing this to make the back loops. So you're going to just fold it into 2 again, so you have a 1/4 inch size. Then sew it down. Now those that have watched my video of how to make a drawstring kaftan would have seen me using this bias tape. Now I love using bias tapes. They are easy to use, they are convenient, they are ready-made, and you know, it's really amazing and fun because they have different colors. So basically just sew it down, and once you've sewn it, it's going to look like this. Now this part, I've already sewn it, and I'm just going to measure out how many inches I need for my loops. So guys, it's time to put my boning in the channels, and I'm just going to measure out what it is from the top to the bottom, but I'm not going to measure to the bottom, like bottom. I'm going to leave about 1/2 inch to 0.75 inches, you know, allowance remaining, because when I want to fold the bottom part, I need to actually fold it up, and I don't want to fold the boning. Now, even if the boning is easy to sew on, you have to still leave room for the actual bias tip that you're using to finish your fabric. So I'm going to basically just measure it and then measure it on my boning and cut out those pieces that I need according to the measurements that I just did. So guys, now that I've cut the boning, I have sharp corners and I don't want it to be poking through my fabric. So this is the way I always finish my Rigilene boning. So I'm just going to take my lighter and I'm going to like burn it just a little bit, enough to make it soft for me to like press it and make it, you know, curved a little bit so that it's not going to poke out. And this is how you put it into your fabric. It's really easy because I've already measured it. It's 1/2 inch and you know, I don't have any problem. Basically, I'm just going to do that for every single one. Now look at it, it's already forming that shape, that corset shape that we all love. I actually loved how this one turned out, so I'm just going to do it for others, do it for the sides, and once I'm done, I'm going to start working on the loops. So for this, I've already added my extra fabric, sewn it down, inserted my boning channel like I said I was going to do. Now you can put as many boning channels as you want. I'm going to put pictures of other ones people have done that they put a lot of boning channels. The criteria is not set in stone at all, so you can do anything, basically anything. So for the loops, I'll advise you to fold in the center back. So like I've done here, fold it by 1/2 inch and pin it. So you're going to be able to put your loops easily. So just fold it in and start cutting out your loops. Now for my loops, I'm using 2 inches. So I'm going to cut out 8 pieces. So 4 for the left and 4 for the right. So I'm just going to cut it out, and once I'm done, I'm going to start placing them at the center back. So all you're going to do is fold it into 2 like this. So you're going to arrange it equally. Now you see why I said you should fold it in by 1/2 inch. It's going to be really easy to sew right now. So if you can measure this center back downwards, you can measure it and divide it so you know how much space you're going to leave in between each loop. Now I'm using 4 because this is actually a short back. If I was using a longer back, I would definitely use more loops. But with this, I'm just using 4 loops for each side. All I have to do right now is sew along that line, along that folded line. You know, that 1/2 inch line I folded in. I'm just going to fold it straight down. Now what I usually do sometimes is I even sew it twice. So once I've sewn it straight down, I'm going to sew it again, like straight down again, so that I won't have any loop popping out. You know, it's going to be really sturdy. So I'm just going to sew it twice at the center back. Then we're going to move to hemming our corset. Now we're almost done, guys. So you're going to just take your bias tape, place it on the side where you don't want the bias tape to show at the end. You know, we're going to fold it to the other side. Now you guys should check out my video of how to make a drawstring kaftan so that you guys can see how I finished the neckline. Now that's exactly how you're going to do it, but I'm going to explain in this as well, but I really explained in that one as well. So with this particular corset, I want the bias tape to show at the Ankara part at the end. So I'm going to put a picture of when I was done so you guys can see what it looks like, you know, on the Ankara side and what the other side actually looks like. You see that it's plain and the other side has the bias tape. So you're going to start working on the hem on the parts that you want to be plain. Now in my case, it's the shiny fabric. So I'm going to place my bias tape on that shiny fabric and start pinning. So you're pinning on the 1/4 inch line. Now this bias tape is actually really good because they've already ironed it from start. So you're just going to open everything wide and start placing it on that hem. So can you guys see how I'm pinning it? You're pinning it 1/4 inch in. I think that's how I should say it. You're pinning it 1/4 inch in. So once you've pinned it to the other side, I forgot to show this part, and you've sewn it down, you're going to fold it over. I really explained this in the drawstring kaftan video on how to make the neckline. So I'm going to just use that to show you guys how you're going to fold it over. So right here, you can see that I've sewn everything all around at the neckline. So all I did was fold it over. So the front is plain and the back is where you have everything. So with my corset, the shiny part is going to be plain and the Ankara part is going to have this bias tape showing all around the edges. Next up, we're going to go to our sleeves. So you're going to fold it in by 1/2 inch, so to hide that raw edge. So for the sleeves, so all you have to do is gather that tulle fabric or pleat it and just place it on the part that you want it to actually show fully on. Now I want it to be on my shiny part because I want it to have that elevated look. So I'm just going to place it on it, pin it, and just sew it down right there. Now for the top part of the sleeve, I don't want it to just be hanging, so I'm going to just pleat just little of my sleeve and just pin it right there. So I'm going to sew it from the other side so that I can actually see the seam that I'm sewing. So you guys can see I'm going to pin it right there so I can finish that open edge and at the same time sew my sleeve on it. So I'm just going to go to my sewing machine right now and just sew it down. Then for the back, we're just going to gather the sleeve and place it at the back. Just place it 2 inches in from the center back and sew it right there. So pin it and then sew it. So right now we're going to basically sew everything we need to sew: the sleeves, the loops, the hem, and what else? Yes, basically those 3 things, and we're going to come back and show you guys the final result. So guys, right here I have sewn in the loops. I've also made a drawstring for the bias. It's a lace up back, so I've also made a long bias tape that I've sewn down. And yes, this is what it looks like. So you guys can see that this part is plain and the other side has the black bias tape all around. Now look at the details as well. These are the boning channels. Like, it came out flawless. So guys, I fell ill over the course of the week and it didn't let me actually wear this corset. But I promise you guys, I'm going to make a YouTube Shorts video of myself wearing this amazing corset and you guys are going to see how it looks like on my body. But right now, this is what it looks like. I hope you guys love it. I'm sure you guys can hear from my voice that I'm not really feeling too good because I had to record this part yesterday. Thank God I had recorded my initial voiceover like probably a week ago, so that really helped. So right now I'm going to go back to my initial voiceover that I recorded so that you guys can hear my voice really well. Yeah, please guys, don't forget to subscribe. You guys should actually try it out. You can also tag me in your pictures on Instagram. I would be ready to share it with my growing followers. Yeah, so basically this is all I have for you guys in this video. Please don't forget to subscribe. Guys, a lot of you guys are loving my videos but you're not subscribing. Please guys, subscribe to my channel. It helps me in achieving my goal of reaching out to the world at large and making an impact basically. Guys, please subscribe to the channel, like this video, comment in the comment section what else would you like to see. I also have a lot of amazing things, reversibles, convertibles. That's what I actually want to focus on. Craft pieces that you can DIY at home. I have a lot coming out so that you guys can see the amazing things I'm doing. Do have yourself a wonderful morning, noon, or night wherever you are. It's still your favorite content creator and fashion entrepreneur, Lara Savage, signing out.